sharp pair of scissors, and a banner punch. The 1-inch banner punch is my personal favorite in size, but whatever you want to use is also good. Next thing you will need is some adhesive. You can use temporary or permanent. I will be showing you how to use both, and depending on what your needs are for your planner, either one could work. I will also be using some scrapbook paper and watercolors. You could either just stick to scrapbook paper or you could stick to watercolors, but I wanted to show you both techniques that I will be using so that you have the option if you want to customize just a little bit more than just your regular old scrapbook paper. If you have any little bits of paper lying around in your craft room that you've been wanting to use and you only have very small bits of, this is the perfect project to use them on. You will also need some stamps if you want to customize further. 2 of the stamps from my style stamps I designed myself, and will possibly be using one of them in this actual tutorial, and the other one is from Waffle Flower Crafts. I'll have links to all those things in the description box below. Hey guys, Sandra here and welcome to my channel. For this first part of the video, we're going to be using scrapbook paper as the first technique I'm going to show you for making page flags. To get started, you just want to choose whatever pattern paper you like best or whatever matches with your planner. It's really up to personal preference. Once you have your papers chosen, and I just chose little bits that I had lying around in my craft stash, you want to take your punch and turn it upside down so that you can see exactly where you're punching, and that's what I did here. And I also pushed up the little plastic bit that keeps the page flags from flying out because I like to really see what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Once you have all your page flags ready and punched out, you want to use your repositionable adhesive. I'm using this glue stick, or you could use permanent glue stick, whatever you have, but I'm using this because I want them to be repositionable just like a post-it note is. I'm making sure to add it all the way on top, but leaving a slight gap so that I have a place where I can pull on it just like you would with a post-it note. I will also leave a link to that video in the description box below if you haven't seen it because it's really fun. At this point, all my banners have the repositionable adhesive on them, so they're pretty much ready to go. I just have to finish stacking them and give them maybe a few seconds to finish drying out on top of each other just to make sure that we don't have any sort of ripping going on. Now, in order to make my banners permanent, we're going to move on to the next step, which is using my Xron sticker maker. They sell these usually at your local craft stores, but if I can find any online, I will link them in the description box below. They're really fun and easy to use. You just stick them right in that slot where you can see the arrow pointing down, and then you pull downwards, and you basically have a sticker ready to go, and it's fully adhesive. This is really fun if you want to use page flags to kind of just decorate your planner pages or put them in your weekly planner inserts. There's just so many possibilities, so really it's only your imagination that limits you on this. Once you remove that shiny plastic film on top and you pull it off of that parchment type paper, they're ready to go, but you could also leave them on there if you wanted to have stickers or banners ready to travel in your planner because it would be a safe way to keep them. Right now I'm just adding my repositionable adhesive banners right on top of my first file tab inside my planner. This is a great way to just keep them on there, kind of like a dashboard, and you can also put them on acetate if you have an acetate dashboard. I even ended up putting my permanent ones and I didn't get any ribbage, so I think that depends on the adhesive that you use. For this next technique, I'm going to be using my watercolor palette. If you subscribe to my channel, then you're not surprised by that. I'm just saturating each one of the little palettes in here with some water. I have a little mini spray bottle that I'm using, but you could use whatever you have, or you could just have a bowl of water next to your desk. I'm also using a brush that I have in my stash as well, but any brush will do. This is just the one I grabbed. And I'm actually putting some water on the actual paper before I actually add the watercolors because this is going to help for them to blend better and for you to get a cooler effect. If you just put them on dry, even if you have water on the palette, they just don't blend quite as well. Now I'm just going to be adding different colors. Whatever you like will basically do, and whatever colors you want, so you don't necessarily have to do what I do. And be mindful that depending on the colors you use next to each other, you could end up getting some muddy colors. So I would definitely keep that in mind, because I kind of did that by mixing certain colors together, but I still like the way it turned out, so just keep that in mind. Now that your paper is dry, you want to get ready to punch out some banners. You want to make sure this paper is fully dry before you do this, or it will not punch out cleanly and you might end up ripping the paper. And also, something I forgot to say was make sure that you're using heavyweight cardstock for this watercolor technique, because if you just use some thin regular paper, it's not going to work correctly. So this is a 110-pound cardstock that I'm personally using, and I'm pretty sure you can just pick that up at any local place or Office Depot or whatever, but if I find a place, I will also link it below. So look how pretty these are, you guys. I mean, I love watercolor effects so much, so every single time I do this, I'm always impressed. I'm also using these little mini punches that I picked up just to show you guys another extra way you could personalize these even further by punching out little shapes from in between them. Of course, this one came out a little bit offset, but I decided to still use it because I like the way that it looks. And then I punched out another one of those gray pieces, and I'm just layering that one on top of the other one, because not only does that just make it a little bit more sturdy, but it also looks really cute, and then it's really easy to position that paper behind there. And you can do that plus lots of other things. Here I'm just punching out a heart from here, and you could also just leave it blank. You don't have to add something behind it. I just thought it would be something fun to do to add a pattern paper. And for this one, I'm actually just going to add a piece of vellum, which is a see-through type paper that they sell in lots of places. And it's just fun because it adds kind of like a glowy type effect to it without being too much, in my opinion, especially because you want the watercolors to shine when you do this kind of thing, so you don't want to pick a pattern that's going to be a little bit too much. And I'm just adding my glue, which is Tombow Monomulti, and I will have that linked in the description box below. It's my favorite glue, and it works awesome whenever you're making any paper products or even gluing down random things, which I do all the time because it has a fine tip, so you just get the perfect amount of glue. And then I have the stamp set, which is a planner stamp set that is by Kelly Perky, and I wanted to use some of the little happy faces just to stamp on top of my banner, because this is another way that you can also create little custom banners by stamping on top of them. And I thought this little dude was so cute with his tongue sticking out. I think it looks very like 70s with the watercolor and then that little happy face, and I thought that was just adorable. And then I also have this stamp, which is from Waffle Flower Crafts, and it just has little like memes and little, well, not memes, but little words that are really tiny, so it's kind of perfect for small embellishments since it is made for planners. So I thought I would just stamp on the top of that the word remember, and I thought that was just perfect. So that's just another example of using things you have in your stash. And if you don't happen to have stamps, you can also just doodle some stuff on top of these banners with a nice little fine point pen, which is what I did. I just used my own handwriting and then just made a little heart just to show an example of ways that you can just kind of use your own doodling as well. You don't necessarily need to have all the products in the video to do this tutorial, which a lot of people have tweeted me and told me before that they've done the tutorial without necessarily having everything in it, and I love to hear that because it's all about, you know, using what you have as well. Now I'm just using actually a cloud that comes from my stamp set that I designed, which I will also have linked in the description box below if you want to pick one up as well. And I thought it would be fun to create my own stickers while I was at it, which is kind of like, you know, another way to decorate your planner by making something custom. So I'm just cutting these out, and I'm just going to trim around them. It's actually really easy to do, especially if you have a nice small sharp scissors, which is what I recommend. And now I'm just going to show you guys how all of this looks inside my planner, because I'm honestly just in love with how it looks. I'm adding all the little banners that I made on my dashboard, and I actually have a piece of acetate on my dashboard. And some of these I actually am going to put inside some of my weekly planner pages, so just so you get an idea of what they would look like inside of yours. Here I'm just running these clouds through my Extron sticker maker because I want to make them permanent so that I can use them as stickers, but if I had used repositionable adhesive, I could have also done that. Or you could even make your own little magnet page markers for your pages, which I actually have a tutorial on that as well, so if you haven't seen that, I'll try to remember to link that in the description box below. And I really love the way these little clouds look. I think they just add an extra special something. And now I'm just seeing where I want to add this little banner guy because I think it would look really cute on this page since it's kind of on the plainer side, like really plainer side. And I just stapled that down, and I'm also going to take my repositionable banners and just show you how well they fit inside the little squares of your calendars, which is part of the reason that I love this size, because you can stick them in there and write on top of them. So I hope you guys are enjoying these DIYs. If you are, be sure and give me a thumbs up and leave me comments for any other things you'd like to see me make, as well as subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And as always, I will leave the links to everything that I use in the description box below, so be sure and check that out if you want to pick up anything from my videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!